Everybody, we are back. It is Saved Online's favorite podcast, favorite channel, favorite is everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at @TheMarkJohnNFL for me, at MHolder95 for Matt, and of course, PandaSubs.com, discount code TDL for 25% off. All right, guys. So starting a little AFC West preview. Got a couple of requests for this. And people have been asking us, can we do like an AFC West preview type of thing? So we're starting off with the Chargers and, looking at Greg Roman's offense and Tuipulotu. I got it right, man. I think I got it right.
I think you nailed that one.
I'm getting better, guys. I'm getting better for 2025 season. Getting better. Tuipulotu is the other guy we're going to focus on the defense. So I'm more doing Greg Roman's passing offense more than I would say the offense. Maybe if we do more Charger stuff, I'll go deep dive into the running game a little bit, but I kind of just wanted to focus on, how the game plan is to get them to pass, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of want to focus on that, and then so we'll be looking at the AFC West, and of course we look at the Broncos, and then we'll look at the Chiefs. You know what I mean? And we'll try to figure out how the Raiders, the outlook with the Raiders versus them at this point in time. And of course, you can't put the new players up there, but you know how that goes. Which, the systems really haven't changed with these teams, in my opinion, either. So, yeah. Anything else happen, Matt? Anything else?
Not much, man. I mean, I think we've hit that dead point in the season where, again, no news is good news at this stage. Besides a signing and besides a contract extension at this stage. So, about it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ain't nothing happening right now. And like I said, we like it to be quiet. Definitely want to be quiet. Don't want to be Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders got that ticket today.
Yeah. So it was like what was the frequently used joke of the day? He finally went 101. It's a good one. I like that one.
I see that, but I like that. I like that.
The other one was like, all right, if you think that's bad, he went 144 when he was supposed to go top 25 or something like that.
People got jokes.
We had the internet, especially in the downtime. We got some jokes, especially when you're Sanders and not afraid to be boisterous, I guess. Let's say, then you're gonna get the brunt of it when you have to eat the trash a little bit.
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty boring. Hopefully, it stays boring for the Raiders.
Damon Arnett's back in the league. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the Texans, Damon Arnett's back. Somebody asked me about that on Friday Night Live, and I was like, "What is he doing?" I guess he's playing the UFL. I was like, "Oh," and I looked up his stats. I'm like, "Oh, he's playing pretty well. He got him a job."
Oh, nice, good for him. Yeah, I saw Gruden already had his back. Was like, he's a completely changed guy. I'm like, well, I'd hope.
You would say that. Well, maybe you should have drafted him when he changed instead of drafted him before that, John.
Yeah, the off the field stuff was one thing, but he was also just not good when on the field.
Yeah, 19.
But hey,
it's just nuts. That was a crazy. That was a crazy. And of all the draft picks, I mean, Leatherwood was crazy, but I mean, Farrell was definitely crazy too. But there's Arnett. You had 2 first-round picks. You had David Arnett with the second one.
Well, were they back-to-back years where it was basically guys who like you probably could have gotten in like the 3rd round? Like weren't him and Leatherwood back-to-back drafts, something like that?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe I have that mixed up, but they were close enough where it was like, damn, they did it. They did it again.
Awful. Yeah, because the thing is, they went Damon Arnett, then Alex Leatherwood.
Yeah.
And talk about system fits. He fits what Gunther likes to do. Okay, bro.
Didn't Gunther get fired the next year?
The same year. I think. The same year. Actually, 2020, he got fired late, I think, right? Yeah, they went to somebody. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, because 2021, they had Gus Bradley. That's right.
Mm-hmm. All right, so to the Chargers. So, like I said, we're doing Tuipulotu and Greg Roman's passing game. So what were your thoughts on looking at Tuipulotu and just a little bit of the Chargers defense?
Yeah, so the biggest reason why I wanted to look at him is he's a guy that I liked a lot when he's coming out of USC a couple of years ago. Ended up going to the 2nd round, which is about where I thought he would go. But yeah, he's got a pretty versatile game. USC, like they used him all over the place. They would put him up and down the defensive line, and even had some off-ball linebackers, kind of cool on some third downs that get him in some unique blitzes, and definitely a versatile player. Been pretty much exclusively on the edge out in the NFL, but he's going to be stepping into a bigger role this year because the Chargers let go of Joey Bosa this past offseason, and I think a big part of it is because of what they've seen from Tuli over the last 2 seasons. I mean, just looking at the stats, he's got 13 sacks, 8.5 last year, 4.5 as a rookie. I think 47 pressures this past year on PFF, 43, and then 51 the year before as a rookie. So he's been a pretty damn good pass rusher the last 2 seasons. I think you can run at him a little bit, but he has played decently well against the run too. I just think that's not his bread and butter. Like he's definitely been used as more of like that pass rush type. His role expanded a little bit last year, but yeah, definitely a pass rusher first who's going to be stepping into becoming a full-time starter for the first time in his career, likely with Bosa out. And him and Mac can complement each other pretty well because I think Tuli's a pretty damn good player. He's an up-and-coming edge rusher that maybe you haven't heard of because he hasn't made a ton of noise, but he's a damn good player, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And you're right about what's going to happen with Tuli, just because I was looking at the Chargers draft picks, and they didn't really draft any defensive ends or edge rushers really. I mean, I guess you could say, Kyle Kennard, I guess. I mean, outside linebacker. I guess you could go with that and try to say that. I mean, you know more about that than me, Matt, but saying that maybe he could be that edge rusher type of player, and they did go Jamari Caldwell, but that's defensive tackle. So I think they're really expecting Tuli to kind of be that guy to kind of come in and be that defensive end for them, just because they still have Khalil Mack, they got rid of Joey Bosa, and they really didn't fully address that position, because if you're going to go with a guy in the late 3rd round, you're not really trying to have him be a starter right away.
Yeah,
and probably he's more of a Khalil Mack replacement than a Tuipulotu replacement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think Kennard, I want to say he went in the 4th round, but either way, I think he's going to kind of step into the role that Tuli was playing the last 2 years, where he'd be that 3rd down rusher, and then like you said, when Mac hangs it up or when Mac leaves the Chargers, which I believe he signed a 1-year deal. I don't think he's there for much longer. He's getting older. Then I think Kennard's more the replacement. But yeah, like you said, they definitely weren't seeking to replace Bosa right away, and I think that's a big reason why is because of what they've seen from Tuli over the last 2 years.
Yeah. So I did Greg Roman's passing offense, and when you look at their free agency, was the opposite, or even with their draft. I mean, they drafted Marion Hampton, who's probably going to replace J.K. Dobbins, right? They got Trey Harris on the offense, so they really did try to upgrade the offense. Oronde Gatson, the second at tight end. So they really try to upgrade the offense from that perspective, because when you watch him on film, I mean, the passing game was really just like Ladd McConkey, and then play action passing. So that's really all they had. I mean, Quentin Johnston, if I'm saying his down, I don't really know matter.
Yeah.
But he's not going to get the job done. That's why they got Trey Harris, who can kind of run some of the outside routes and who can win deep, because that's a lot of what Greg Roman does is just a lot of go routes. And the offensive line was a big problem for them last year, and they added our fan of the show, Andre James, right?
Oh, yeah.
And a good one in Mekhi Becton. I think that would be a huge upgrade for them, in my opinion. But the Chargers fans are excited about Andre James' PFF grade. I think they're about to find out.
Maybe not last year's though. I think last year's even PFF started to turn on him.
Started a little turn on him from PFF. You know what I mean? So yeah. So we'll see how that goes with the center position with them. But I just think with Greg Roman, I really wanted to highlight the passing game. I was going to just do Ladd McConkey. I was thinking that's what I was going to do. I was just do Ladd, but I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
That's a little too easy. Let me just look at what Greg Roman likes to do. And with the Chargers, I mean, the key thing with them is to get him in 3rd and long.
Yeah.
If you can get him in 3rd and long, I mean, they basically asked Justin Herbert to play Superman, be a superhero, save us with these concepts that I have. Like I feel like he runs 5 concepts on 3rd down. It's like verts, maybe a flat 7, and then maybe you get a choice route with the 7 over the top, and maybe you get some maybe a out route, but it's all kind of in the same area, or you
Yeah.
get like a stop from the slot, and then you get a go route from two go routes from the outside. It's very simple on third down, and he doesn't do a lot of motion, so there's not a lot of trickery. It's not like motion
Yeah.
pre-snap. I mean, they might motion like somebody over, but it's kind of like how Josh McDaniels used to do, like motion somebody over, but it's not like a pre-snap motion where you're getting, you're catching players moving and things like that. Everybody's stationary when the ball snapped. So that's the key. I mean, it's not as easy as it sounds because you got to stop to run the ball. And I kind of went over like games where they got stopped, like the Bucks, the Chiefs, and I went over the Cardinals too. So a couple teams that like kind of stopped them against the run. I mean, Laviconki went off against the Cardinals, but so they're able to still pass the ball. But like the Chiefs and the Bucks, they didn't have very good, I would say, performances on offense. And then the Bucks, they got blown out, and then the Chiefs are up the whole game, and then the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, he's just going to slowly bleed you if you are beating him. You're not going to be able to hold that 10-0 lead for long, and it kind of showed up a little bit, right? And yeah, so it's interesting to kind of watch it because it really is the goal. Like if you can stop the run and get him in the third and long and get him just in passing mode, unless Justin Herbert's Superman that game, you got a good chance, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like that's been the issue with Greg Roman for years is the passing game has always just been super simple. That was part of the downfall out in San Francisco. That's why he got canned in Baltimore after working with Lamar for a couple of years. And then ultimately just keeps resurfacing because he's good buddies with Jim Harbaugh. So I think you're right. Like that is the key to the Chargers offense is always going to be stopping the run and getting him into those situations where you can kind of predict what they're going to be running. The one, I don't know, maybe you mentioned it, and I missed it, but the one wide receiver I didn't hear you bring up, Mike Williams, brought him back after a year away. And it's funny to me because you look at him, Mike Williams, Trey Harris, and Quentin Johnson, and they're all kind of like the same type of wide receiver, like those big dudes who can kind of win outside and whatnot. So I think you talk about that speaks to how they want to throw the ball. They want to get guys that can win down the field or at least be good jump ball guys down the field because that's a lot of their passing game.
Yeah, but to me, when I watch it, I'm like, Laviconki is a bad boy. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
He's that dude could play. All right. Yeah. So I don't know how much targets these other guys are really going to get. Like, I mean, like Herbert looks to him. Right. I mean, that's where he's looking for on third down is McConkey. So if you can control him, that's a big part of it too, because he's a bad boy, man. I was watching that film. I was like, oh man, and they got chemistry too. Right. So yeah, it's a big part of it, but you bring those wideouts, it kind of opens it up for McConkey, in my opinion. But I also think they're missing the tight end. They don't, I mean, right. They don't have that. I mean, they added Tyler Conklin. As a tight end and see maybe he could become that guy. But I think the offense is missing that dynamic, that Andrews, that Vernon Davis, you know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, just thinking about it to the 2024 draft, there was like talk about them taking Brock Bowers for that reason, partially because they had a left tackle already in Slater. And then, I mean, Harbaugh's going to do his thing. He's going to get the offensive lineman and get Alt anyway, which played pretty damn well as a rookie.
Yeah,
But then, I think this past year, it kind of caught up to him a little bit where I think they were relying on either Loveland or Tyler Warren sliding to them. I forget where they were drafting, like 20th or whatever in the draft, and that didn't happen. And then they just, I was shocked they didn't add someone at least in the second round or at another point in the season or another point in the draft because that is a weak position group. And like you said, it's been a big part of the offense with Harbaugh and Roman for a while now.
Yeah, for sure, dude. All right, let's get into some Tuli, man. Let's check out some Tulis.
Sounds good. All right, so I'm gonna start off with Tuli's bread and butter here, which is turning speed to power. Like you'll see these will actually get progressively get better. But you can see this first rep. I think Jawan Taylor gets away with a little bit of holding here at the end. Like you'll see him just kind of be able to. One, he doesn't quite land with his inside hand, but he has like enough strength and power, and he does a really good job of keeping his feet moving through contact. Be able to collapse the pocket, and that's going to force Mahomes to step up and then run into a short sack there at the end. But again, I think probably would have gotten this had Had Taylor not grab some cloth right there.
Yeah.
But either way, that's going to be a common theme. I think I got 6 clips of him doing just this. This one's going to be even better here against the Panthers. Against I believe that's Taylor Moton, if I'm saying that right.
Mm-hmm.
But like you'll see this. I mean, this one he gets really good leverage on it. Actually, this one's one of his worst ones. But like if you watch his inside hand here, he's going to help stand up Moton and then get a little bit of extension so that he can push the pocket. And I mean, Matlock here is winning too, and so is Bud Dupree around the edge, which helps.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can see, like Young doesn't have any room to be able to complete that pass, even though he hits the check down.
Bryce Young jumping just makes me die, but go ahead.
I know. Yeah, jumping because he can't see over the line. Next one going against the Saints. I know Trevor Penning hasn't been a great guy in pass protection, but what he is pretty damn strong, and this should play to his strengths, but you'll see, like, this is the one I was thinking of. Just great leverage. Comes in like a bull in a china shop. His helmet right underneath Penning's. I mean, not exactly a comforting position for the offensive lineman to be in, on your heels and with your ass further out than your knees.
Yeah,
I don't know how Hainer completed this pass while like ducking. It's beyond me, but oh well.
Yeah, he completed that?
Yep.
Wow.
I guess when in doubt, throw it to Olave.
I guess so.
This next one against DJ Glaze, who we talked about in the last episode. Glaze usually does well against these power rushers and these type of guys, but Tuli just gets the best of him on this one. Does a great job of getting inside, getting his hands inside, and getting them on Glaze's chest.
Yeah, I mean, with something, we talked about this last week. I mean, Glaze is strong, but if Tuli's strong too. I mean, so it's like why you can't fully depend on that all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why keeping your hands isn't as important.
Yeah.
Next one against Conklin. Here's where the sacks start to come. And I mean, you think Conklin might even get a little bit of air on this one. I think we see this. Boom. Just right through him. That's a former All-Pro tackle right there. Sorry, guys. I'm battling a cold here.
Sorry.
Battling cold and currently losing.
Yeah. It's Matt's flu game today, guys.
I know, right? Kid's sick. It's all bad.
It's all bad. Go ahead. You're good, dude.
Same kind of thing on this one. Again, just wins at the point of attack. Like one thing you'll see he does really well is gets his hands up quick, and that allows him to get that extension and then go in and get the sack on Levis.
Yeah. I like it too. I mean, he just it's consistent. Like it's a consistent move. You can tell he does really well with the speed to power there. I mean, that's just a specialty basically.
Yeah, and you'll see at certain points last year, we'll see one clip where he does it. He started using it to sell it to set up other moves too. So he's getting more advanced with it too. But the next few reps, kind of just more miscellaneous pass rush reps. The other thing they'll do is they'll put him on a lot of stunts because he's a pretty good athlete. On top of that too, like you'll see on this one, takes a nice flat line. Has a nice little burst here to go sack Spencer Rattler, on this one. Get another one here against Joe Burrow. I will say our boy Alex Kappa here is going to do a great job picking up the stunt. But Ted Carraris, the center, not so much. Again, nice job too. Like this one, he's actually lined up inside. Excuse me. This one is actually lined up a little bit more inside. It's like I guess he's still at a DN spot.
Yeah,
technically here, but you're gonna loop and do a little twist on the interior. End up getting a sack. Now earlier we saw that rep again against Conklin where he won with the speed to power. This next one though, like you can see, he kind of sells it a little bit.
Yeah,
and then wins with this little cross chop. You're gonna start to get square, and then work outside with that little Euro step. And then kind of win around the edge.
That's a nice move.
This one can be an even better angle. Gonna look like the same rep, but technically be different. Like here, Conklin actually recovers pretty well on this one, but either way, we're forcing Winston out of the pocket. You'll see he'll kind of right about here, kind of fakes inside to get square. Like watch what happens with Conklin's feet stops and kind of steps inside himself, trying to brace for that speed to power, and boom, just a little cross chop. Again, decent recovery, but we're forcing the quarterback out of the pocket at least. All right. Next one, more than anything, just great job playing the hands. You'll see he kind of catches Dylan Radins' hands here while he's working the move. And the other thing I like about his game, too, is like just watch how loose his hips are, and that's going to help him win around the edge and clear this offense, this guard. Like as soon as he like tucks in this little his outside arm for Radins, then he clears his hips and able to go make his presence felt against Will Levis. It's a nasty hit. Got good closing speed on the quarterback, too. On top of that, too, he has shown a couple inside moves as like a counter that he can win with. He gave the Bengals some fits all game. But this time, like you'll see a little overset here by the tackle where he's going to step too far up the field with his inside foot and just beat him with a nice little rip move. Pretty quick, too, man.
Yeah,
can win with power and is a quick pass rusher. That's a deadly combo.
I mean, this is why they ain't got Joey Bosa no more. Watching this for sure.
Exactly.
Nice. Okay, all right. So the spin move too. Okay, all right.
Fight through a little chip block here from Gesicki. Again, he gave this right tackle a day. I have no idea who that is. Put him in the blender here. Yeah, nice job with using this his elbow here with the ice pick to clear the hands. And ends up getting another QB hit, maybe throwing that a little bit sooner than Burrow wanted to. Now him against the run, again, like I said, I don't think this is his game, is the strength of his game, but he does make a handful of plays, or did make a handful of plays last season. Like this one's pretty impressive because he's lined up over the slot receiver, which is Pat Freiermuth, just a tight end split out wide. Does a great job of making Freiermuth miss. You'll see Freiermuth kind of loses balance as he works up to the second level. And then fights into Darnell Washington, who's damn near another offensive lineman just with an eligible number, and ends up setting the edge and then escaping a little bit on the edge to go make his tackle on his new teammate, Najee Harris.
Oh, I forgot to talk about Najee. My bad, Chargers fans. If you guys I don't know anything.
I didn't even catch on that one.
Yeah.
What I like about this one, too, is like you'll see him against the Cardinals here. Like the Cardinals are going to run a little counter. And like if you watch Trey McBride's block, McBride does a good job of stepping towards him and then working up to the second level, although he does miss the second level block that we'll see. But what makes that difficult, especially when you have a puller coming from the other side, is he's going to get Tuli's attention here as the tight end. So now he's got to get his eyes back, and he's kind of late to see the puller here, which is why you see him lose a little bit initially. But he actually does a pretty damn good job of recovering. Nice tight hands are a big reason why. Nice and tight on the puller's chest. He gets off and gets a nice little shed here to get off the block, and ends up going and making the TFL or getting involved in the TFL there. I think this next one is just more of your traditional edge setting. Again, 71 had a rough one against Tuli. So I think it was like a 4-yard loss, if I remember correctly.
I'm trying to figure out what 71 is right now.
Might not be in the league after this game. But again, this was a nice rep of him setting the edge and just boom, go make that play on the outside zone.
That's our Marius Mims.
Oh, it is. Never mind. He is still going to be in the league. But that was a rough game for Mims. I liked his game a lot. This last clip we're going to see, like, I don't know if he was told to do this, but I highly doubt the Chargers wanted him to just stop. But like you'll see Lamar on this little read option, he's going to keep the ball anyway, likely thinking, hey, I got a defensive lineman out there. I think I can out-athlete him. But Tuli just takes a perfect angle, breaks down in the backfield here. Lamar slips a little bit, which helps out.
Yeah. And
just makes a great tackle to get a TFL, an unblocked TFL against the read option. So
that's a great angle that he took. Yeah, for sure.
That, and, like I said, man, pretty good athlete. We just saw him tackle Lamar Jackson in the backfield, and we've seen Lamar make plenty of guys still look stupid in those situations. And on top of it, too, that speed to power. So it's a guy that's definitely the arrows pointing up. Definitely want to know over these next few years for sure.
Yeah, and I think the defense for the Chargers is going to be really good again. And they still have the same coaches there, and the same system. Jesse Minter, I believe, is still the DC over there.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it's gonna be a really good defense again. I'm really not gonna be, you know, really worried about them. It's it's more, what do they do, on offense to kind of keep up with what their
Yeah.
defense is gonna play like because Khalil Mack's gonna be back. They still got some good linebackers over there. You maybe could talk about maybe some of the corners, maybe that maybe you might be able to attack outside, but with that, it's still going to be such a well coached defense that
Yeah.
if you don't play well on offense and they're able to get pressure on you, you're going to have some trouble, right?
Yeah. They definitely have a pretty good pass rush, which is going to help help solve a lot of their answers in the secondary. Because I definitely agree with you. The secondary has a lot of more question marks. They're relying on a few young guys, a few guys that were drafted last year. Cam Hart's going to be playing outside cornerback. Tariq's still going to be playing in the nickel. And they lost Christian Fulton last year too. It was a good starter for him a year ago too. So definitely have some questions back there. But with Mack and Tuli out there, they're still going to be able to get some pressure for sure around the edges.
Yeah, for sure, dude. All right, let's get into some Greg Roman passing. So, the big factor with this pass game is just play action passing. So, I'll let this run real quick, kind of bring it back. I mean, if you can't stop the run, they're going to just play action pass you to death. And, it gives Herbert a lot of easy looks. And, Herbert in his offense is going to make a lot of crazy decisions, in my opinion, that he probably could just because his arm talent. But you see right here, just the arm talent right here on this one. So you get the simple typical kind of bootleg, right? When you get the kind of 3-level concept off the bootleg, so you can go to flat, then you get the deep corner route, and then you get the over route, right? And it looks like the Chiefs are in cover 3 here, I believe. Yeah. So it looks like kind of a cover 3 look. You could maybe see this a little bit of quarters just because of what Reed is doing, but it looks like a little more of a cover 3 look. And like I said, they're leaving the flat wide open, but just the arm strength of Justin Herbert's not going to matter. Like this guy's, I mean, depending on who the quarterback is, this isn't open, but it is with Justin Herbert. So, like those guys get pretty close, but it doesn't matter with that arm strength that he has. Like you just can't. You really got. I think as if this is the Raiders, you need this guy to get more depth here.
Yeah,
and just give him this and hope that 27 is going to make this tackle on McConkey and give him this 11 yards instead of giving this big chunk play here. Like,
yeah, he gets caught in no man's land.
Mm-hmm. You got to go down a little bit there, in my opinion. So, but I mean, these are the type of things you're going to do off the play action, especially on first down and like second and short. If you're going to pass on second and short, it's going to be a play action here. So here's another play action. This one out of a shotgun. So let this one run real quick. So they really like to do this as well, where they kind of get these basically like a over route and then kind of a seam route from whoever this probably be, like Trey Harris, I would guess, or Trey Harris probably, and this would probably be, of course, be Ladd McConkey, and this is probably Mike Williams, if we're just guessing, right? Yeah. So in this type of situation, right, you see Herbert, he's kind of looking at these 2 deep routes off the play action, and you're definitely getting a cover 3 look here from the Cards here on first down, right? Yeah, but Herbert by this time, I think it's like week 12 or something like that, deeper in the season, maybe week 7, I'm not sure, but he has a good idea of how this offense is working. You see him kind of get this ball off on time after looking at these guys, but it's just a play action too. Just makes everything a little bit easier for him, keeps the rush away, especially the way the offensive line played last year a little bit. So
surprised he didn't hit that seam route, especially with Baker opening to the go route.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
you would say, hey, Herbert should make that throw, but I think he makes the right throw in this offense.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he's gonna make the right throw. Right, because you can make the case like maybe Baker baits him a little bit, and because also let's Buda Baker, he probably can flip his hips pretty damn quick, a little bit. But
yeah,
it just depends on how you're looking at it as a quarterback, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm over here making excuses for Justin Herbert. That's gross. He missed that. He missed it. Anyways, here we go. So, like, here's another one. They love to run these type of plays here too, with the kind of this comeback up here, and you're gonna get this corner out up at the top. And the Cardinals play is awful too, in my opinion. But this is what happens when you get kind of these play action looks, right? So, you know, they get a little bit of blitz, right? They really don't bite on it too much. But since, you know, they're all expecting some kind of quick route or something like that, you kind of see this corner kind of just really bite on this, right? This is cover 3, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So this guy should be, you know, you got this guy in front of it. He should be, you know, getting depth here to kind of cover this up. But Herbert does a good job of kind of staring at McConkey here and then hitting this over the top. And of course, this guy fumbles it, and it's a big touchback. But yeah,
That's a tough one.
That's tough. But yeah, I think it's a good read by Herbert, because you could say Herbert could throw this ball a lot earlier, but like I think he had to hold this guy, make sure this guy doesn't get to this corner route so he can get this ball to him. So, but man, that's ugly right there. All right, so here it is, just a little bit the straight drop back game a little bit. And like I said, you're going to get a lot of these kind of similar concepts, right? So you're going to get like this in and out route, or what we call a whip route here from McConkey, who he just runs things really well. And you're going to get these like a missile route, skinny post on the other side. You're going to see that a lot with kind of go routes at the bottom with a little hitch route over the below it, right? Or call it a choice route, you could say. But I think Herbert does a good job of reading this one too. You can kind of see this linebacker here. He does a good job of seeing this linebacker. And then, you know, this linebacker bites, boom, and he's able to hit it right back over the top of it. And that is exactly how the NFL wants you to hit somebody over the middle, right there. Yeah. Textbook Buddha. That's in the the NFL owners meeting film right there. All right, and like here's another play action here. This one's just gonna be Herbert and McConkey. So this is what I'm talking about. So sometimes if the concept just isn't there, right? You know, you could say maybe over the top here because you're getting this little post route here at the bottom here. Then maybe Herbert could have went there and just threw it there. You could make the case, but this guy's dropping. So, but you know, you could make the case that maybe Herbert could throw it back here. But I mean, what happens on this one, because you're gonna get like this hitch route, and they're kind of double teaming McConkey, right? A little bit of squeezing him a little bit. You can see it's definitely a bracket, but this throw, this ball's already in the air, isn't it? When I'm doing this, this ball's already in the air.
Damn.
Like, he's gonna throw it right here, and this is what I'm talking about. Like him and McConkey just being on point, no matter what, no matter if this concept's not working. The Chiefs have this locked up, but it's just poof, right there. Sometimes, you know, Herbert is gonna be he's gonna be a little bit of he's gonna do some Superman stuff like this.
A freaking arm, dude. That's one way to beat bracket coverage.
just throw the dude open, yeah.
Yeah, just fucking rifle it. Holy shit.
While getting hit too. This is a great catch. This is the catch too. Right there. So, but I mean, you know, you want to bet on making him be Superman all the time, right? Because he doesn't want to be Superman. All right, so here's another one. Another play action. When I was talking about these skinny posts, all these play action, of course, McConkey's going to just run this totally different than Josh Palmer, right? But you kind of see how McConkey just sets this up, gets his corner leaning here, is it cut right back inside. You kind of see the linebackers come up a little bit here, just enough off the play action, just enough, and then Herbert's going to hit him right over the top, right there, right in that in this window right there, and then McConkey's going to get a whole bunch of yak afterwards.
Yeah, what number 7's doing there is called covering grass. Can't have that happen.
Yeah.
Can't be sitting in the middle of the field.
Like you're not covering nobody, bro. Yeah. So, you know, it didn't work out there. All right. And then here's another play action. So this is another one too, where they kind of, you know, this is what I talk about them needing like a dynamic tight end, because they can kind of open some things up here. But this one's to McConkey here again. So I look at the wrong play, but here's McConkey here on these crossers here. You can see him on a crosser here, and kind of like what you'll see is you kind of get the shallow route from the tight end, right? So it kind of gives them like a 3 low options. I don't like the spacing. I think they're like a little bit too close together, but that's something Greg Roman likes, is bad spacing. But what you see here, what I like about this one is just, you know, McConkey, see him eyeing where he's at to make sure that he's in the right place for where Herbert wants to throw this ball, and then even kind of fading with it. And this is what I'm talking about the combination that they have. And Herbert throwing it to the right spot, and McConkey knowing exactly where to go. So like, yeah, I don't care who's the wide receivers out there. You got to stop these two guys. Like, you got to, or they're gonna cook you. You're gonna get cooked all day because, like I'm saying, like just the combination and the chemistry they have, like they're definitely best friends. Their girlfriends know each other.
They breakfast together and all that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff. All right, so on this one, so you see, this is we'll talk about with the tight ends a little bit. So you're going to see kind of this an over route from 84 here, and then on this play action here, right? And it's, even saw even with the Bucks really not biting on it, but what it does, it just this guy bit enough, so he's kind of lost a little bit, and you kind of get this quick out, this this kind of like a little bit of a quick out there from this other tight end, right? Or there's a fullback. I'm not really sure. But what that does is hold this guy against cover 3, right? And then you have this tight end who's going to be hitting right over the top there. Boom, right over the top. Makes a nice play. And, of course, if you got that arm, man, you could just make any throw here against pressure. All right, so let's get to, like, third down here. A lot of what I like to do on third down. So on this one, what you're going to see is basically they love to run these vert routes right on third down. So you can basically see all verts. It's kind of like an over route, but it's still all verticals here. And what happens on third down, and just because they're line, and this is why they have Mekhi Becton and they got Andre James and all this stuff, it's just it's just they're not able to pick up stunts really well. You can see this later on, and this kind of just Herbert's not able to kind of step up into this throw and hit 87. He's about to open up. So, especially with the timing of these routes and how deep they are with the offensive line, it just wasn't setting them up. So there might be a little bit of difference there. The offensive line gets a little bit better, but it's just these concepts aren't set up for like converting third downs or giving your quarterback easy looks. This is about him having to play Superman here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're designed to beat cover 3 consistently, and that's because they run the ball so well that they're going to get you in, that they're going to force you to play one high.
Yeah, and you don't see that here, right? You see just quarters, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of see the stunt there. Getting Herbert out there has to just get rid of that football. All right, so here's another one. They're going to be sending a blitz here, kind of basically a zone blitz. You're going to see this guy come in. 9's going to drop out, and they're going to play cover 3 on the back end. And this is what I'm talking about. These routes just taking a little bit of time. And I know it's 3rd and 10. I know that. But, when you have this type of situation here where you can get, Herbert to kind of rush here, like he doesn't have time to get this ball off. I mean, and then if you're attacking this offensive line and, people talk about Lamar Jackson playing cover 0, you kind of see that type of thing here with Greg Roman, just with Justin Herbert too, where Herbert is going to have to get out of the pocket and make a play here. I mean, if he was able to get out, he could probably make a play and find somebody deep or something like that. But you're able to keep him in the pocket and keep that pressure. It's just that the concepts just aren't really matching up for like a blitz. I mean, these guys are running too deep for a team that blitzes on third down.
Yeah,
in my opinion. I don't know what you think of that, Matt, but that's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And they do so much max protection. I don't think you can blitz. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So here's another, one just they're playing the too high again. And, this time, like I said, these things, they kind of do some of the same concepts over and over again. So they really run this out route that they like to run on third down. And, you see Herbert hit this route, but now it's deeper in the season. This guy's playing outside leverage. He's expecting that out route. You can kind of see how he's playing this.
Yeah.
You watch him, he's expecting that out route, right? From where, especially where he's lined up at too. He's expecting that out route. And then you kind of, these guys are kind of a little bit mumbled together, in my opinion. So it just makes it where Herbert, like I said, has to play Superman on some of these throws, right? And, if it's not the ultimate perfect throw from him, then you can get them off the field.
Yeah.
All right. And here is against the Chiefs here, who the Chiefs, of course, they're going to blitz every single third down, right? and so you could get basically kind of a cover 0 look here. And, this is talk about Greg Roman just versus cover 0 is just some of the issues. And then the Chiefs understanding his concept, because you look at Justin Reed here, right? He goes straight to this in route. He's expecting an in route here from McConkey. boom, he's looking right to it. He's running to it, honestly. And you got two deep out, two go routes. You know that Herbert's kind of looking at hitting this go route, but by the time he does that, he's getting hit.
Yeah.
Right, and that ball can't come out because maybe you could make the case that Palmer does beat Watson down here, right? And Watson's expecting the ball to come out quick too, and he sees it. But just to cover zero, and the concepts just aren't made to help his quarterback on third down, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. It's just not a pass-friendly offense, I guess is how I'm explaining this.
Yeah.
It's not a quarterback-friendly offense. It's like quarterback play Superman, like in the 90s type of stuff. Right. All right. so here is a couple more. This one against cover 2. Right. So you kind of can see that Reed becomes that cover 2 guy outside. You kind of can see it here from this one. And, like I said, these concepts just kind of take a little bit. You're getting a kind of a deep whip route here, like a little bit of a deeper one than you usually see.
Yeah.
Right. From McConkey here. And then you're getting the in route again with the shallow, and you're getting the corner again. So it's like the same thing. I mean, this is over, 3 games. I'm kind of seeing the same thing over and over again. And, Herbert gets under pressure. So, even when you look at the sticks here, right? If Herbert goes here and he completes this, I mean, he's probably getting tackled.
Yeah.
For the sticks, right? So there's really nothing there. And they end up, Watson does a great job of closing on this and knocking this ball out. But he's not going to get a lot of help. And that's why it's important to get him on these third and longs. And this last one right here, you can see another blitz here from the Chiefs, right? A little bit of a zone blitz on this one. You got this player coming, this guy's coming, and then you're going to see Karlaftis. I can't even say his name. Karlaftis, right? Falling back. But when you look at how they're playing this, right? Looks, they got a little basically cover 3. I mean, you got Johnson winning up at the top, right? Johnson's winning up at the top. But by the time Herbert can kind of get there, it's like already over. He's already moving in the pocket. And I have no idea how he did not fumble this ball, because he's just but there's just really nowhere for him to go with the football quickly against blitzes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we always talk about Lamar Jackson versus cover 0. Like, I don't know if it's just Lamar Jackson or if it's just everybody. So,
yeah.
All right.
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was saying, I mean, that's really the goal. The goal is to get them into third and long. And then, you got to get the pressure, blitz, whatever you got to do, because Greg Roman's not going to help Justin Herbert. I mean, that's basically how you can look at it. He's not getting any help. So and if Herbert can beat you playing Superman, then you just got to take it. But yeah, he wants to play Superman. That's what he wants to do. So,
and building off what you just said, you can tell the offense and the passing game is predicated on being able to run the ball, because, like I said, a lot of those concepts were designed to get you in those single high coverages and to play cover 3 and put your defenders in conflict and kind of make them have to choose. But when you're in third and long, you sit back and play that cover 4, like a couple of those clips in the second half of your video that you showed from the Cardinals. Like when the Cardinals could play cover 4, when they could play those 2 high coverages, they could have answers and take away those options for them. But again, the problem is if you don't stop them on first and second down, then you're going to keep running the ball, and you're going to have to eventually roll safety down into the box, which is the issue with the Chargers, and that was what made them good last year. And again, when Greg Roman's offense is rolling, that's when it's at its best, when that running game is going and they force you to play the game that they want you to play, which is a lot of single high coverages and then play action passes and stuff like that. But yeah, the stuff you pointed out about the blitz is interesting, though, because I did think, when I do think of Greg Roman's offense, I do think a lot of max protection, but you're right. Like when it is getting on those obvious passing situations, I think you can bring the heat a little bit to back up from what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. And because the problem is, if you can't stop about first and second down for rid of the ball, you're gonna get those second and forwards, and they're gonna play action you to death.
Yeah,
and then they're gonna make chunk play after chunk play after chunk play through the passing game, which is what they want to do. They want to get those huge chunk plays through the passing game, and and basic kind of play it off the run game itself. So, I mean, if you can stop the run, which, like I said, it's easier said than done, right? I'm saying a lot. If you can stop the run, then you can really get them to the point where make Justin Herbert play Superman I think you can, he's going to burn you, of course, a couple times. He is. I mean, it's not going to, he's going to make a play. McConkey's going to make a play. I took one throw out that was against the Cardinals, was just crazy. But, I didn't want to do too much Justin Herbert glazing. We're still a Raiders channel, so I didn't want to do too much glazing over there. But, he is going to get it done sometimes. It's like, it doesn't matter, especially if he's on. So, but you want to, I would say with how Greg Roman's offense is, set up, you want to take that chance, in my opinion, which, it sounds crazy, but it's the truth.
It does sound crazy to say put the ball in Justin Herbert's hand because he is so talented. But again, that's kind of how you have to do it, because it's not necessarily putting it in Justin Herbert's hand. It's making Justin Herbert rely on Greg Roman, which is, like you said, is part of the pitfall of that offense.
Yeah, for sure, dude. All right, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Of course, we'll be back on Friday Night Live doing the semifinals. I think we're the semifinals of the greatest Raiders team of all time. Definitely.
Where are we at? Who's still left?
You can make me pull this out. I got you though, man. Let me check out who we got left. I think we got 67, 76, 2000, and 1983. So I think 2000 versus 1983. And then I think it's 1976 versus 1967.
60. Okay.
Yeah.
Good squad. So where did the 2000 team, they take down one of the Super Bowl teams?
Yeah. They took down the 1980 team. Yeah.
Okay. Was that the wild card one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
that team was.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that 2000 team was damn talented, but it's hard to go against the Super Bowl winners. But I guess of the Super Bowl winning teams, the first team to win it as a wild card, it makes sense.
Yeah, because my case for the 2000 team was, if Rich Gann doesn't get hurt, I think they beat the Ravens still. You just can't convince me, Matt, that they don't win the Super Bowl that year.
I was even mistaken. I was thinking the literal year they went to the Super Bowl. But yeah, the year they lost to the Ravens in the AFC Championship. Yeah, damn. Okay. Yeah, that's a good squad.
Is their second highest point differential of any Raiders team too? So they were just dominant. Plus 186.
That's right, because they got the 1 seed that year, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because remember that Ravens game was at the Coliseum.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I can see cases for both, but
yeah, I like it.
I like it. But
I like it. Mix it up a little bit.
I still think it's gonna be 76 versus 83, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what the fans think. We're out of here, guys. Like I said, hit the subscribe button. Peace.